The desk or the date? Oh no! Oh, that's tragic. Oh my God, you guys, I just took a chunk. Oh God, surgery. Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what's going to be a review of some brand new Charlotte Tilbury products, both new in general and new to me. I'm going to be talking about the new Instant Eye palette. This has 12 shades in here, the biggest eyeshadow palette I think she's launched to date. I have a couple of her quads, but saw this and was immediately sucked in. And I'm also going to be talking about a new cream highlight and cream contour product that she recently launched as well. All of these are available on the Charlotte Tilbury website, but I personally picked them up at Nordstrom. Interesting story at the fall, I think it's called the Fall Beauty Preview event, I want to say. I went because my mom got an invitation. She loves Nordstrom, was shopping there one day, and they asked her if she'd heard about this thing, and she asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, sure. So it's like 8 a.m. We're bleary-eyed, just having our morning coffee, and then we go and it's like a thing. This is not like a low-key Sephora invite where you go and just kind of shop around and no one really bothers you. This is like an event to see and be seen with a fashion show and spotlights and energy. And what am I trying to say with all this? It's very cool if you haven't been. That is where these products were purchased from. So you can also buy these at Nordstrom as well. And my mom is so much cooler and with it than me. That's what that tells me. I had no idea this was a thing until she actually got an invitation and shared it with me. So thanks, Mom. So first let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. This is called the Instant Eye palette and it comes with 12 shades inside that are separated into 4 different groupings, basically according to when you might wear them. So you have a day eye, a desk eye, a date eye, and a disco eye. I'm wearing disco right here. This is limited edition and retails for 73 bucks, which at face value compared to the quads, which I have a couple of, seems like it's a better deal because a quad retails for $53 individually. By shadow, you're getting a better deal, like in terms of sampling a bunch of different Charlotte Tilbury shades, you're getting a better deal, but by the ounce, these are actually more expensive by the ounce. So something to consider. I mean, none of these shades have been duplicated amongst the quads that I have, so it really doesn't make a ton of sense to compare apples to apples in that way, but just in terms of cost per ounce, it's a reference so you know. Also for reference, because like I said, I cross-reference between the Instant Eye palette and those that I already own. I didn't find any dupes, so in the event that you also own the quads that I have, here's what they are for reference. First is the Vintage Vamp, and this is actually what I wore on my wedding day, so it's a very trusty and treasured quad for me. Then I also have the Dolce Vita, which is similarly warm-toned, but a little less berry, but still very classic, very neutral. And then I have one that was limited edition for last holiday, and it came in a holiday set, and this is the Legendary Muse, which is just a bunch of gorgeous, light, soft, shimmery, metallic shades. And especially amongst this one, I was curious because in almost all of these trios, there is sort of that soft metallic to act as your prime. They have these separated into 3 steps on the back, one of which is prime, enhance, and smoke. A lot of those prime shadows fall into this sort of soft, neutral, shimmery category, but I didn't find any dupes amongst those. In terms of packaging, this comes in the standard gorgeous Charlotte Tilbury, very prone to fingerprints, but still very glamorous looking, metallic looking exterior. If you own any of these like Filmstar Bronze and Glow, similar sort of thing going on. Although the Filmstar, I think this is made of a heavier material, whereas this might be more of a coated plastic, but similar looking exterior. The Instant Eye palette has a mix of mattes and shimmers, and I would even separate the shimmers into like soft shimmers and glittery shimmers. Charlotte knows how to do some amazing glittery shimmers without a bunch of fallout. You still get that wonderful glittery effect on the eye, but not in a disco ball kind of way, like in an elevated, just like, I don't know. It's this borderline shimmery metallic glitter sort of finish, and so there are a few of those that I would say are distinct from your everyday maybe softer shimmer. Overall, the color palette is light brown tones. There is a nice mix though of cooler like taupey browns versus the warmer browns. Then you have some richer browns here. This disco eye that I'm wearing here is where it gets kind of interesting for me, rather than going with the stark black, which to compare, I feel like this is very similar at face value to another very popular nude palette out there. So unlike, and the many that have come after it trying to duplicate it, but like so many neutral palettes that have a strong brown palette, when they go deeper, they go straight to black. And so I really like how in this one, it's more of a deep khaki or a deep greeny based shade, whether that is this one in the middle, which is more of a deep taupe green shimmer, or this, which is more like a blackened green. Like the base is black, but it has a subtle green shift, which I think makes it a lot softer, a lot less stark on the eye, because a lot of people might find that a straight up black is a little too much of a harsh contrast for what they're used to, what they prefer, what they feel is right for them. And so I really like that rather than going straight to that deep black, there's just a hint, a little bit of softness in here with that khaki green. Plus, I'm a sucker for khaki green, so there's that too. That is not to say there's not a time and place for a beautiful, deep, smoky gray, but especially in terms of comparison, because like I said before, I feel like these are very naturally comparable. That is the main difference. There is a lot less warm gold in the Charlotte Tilbury, and there's also that lack of deep, smoky gray black, because this is more of a green tone hue. Overall, the quality of these shadows is amazing. There's not a dud in the bunch, which for the price point, I would expect, but sometimes you run into high-end shadow palettes where that is just not the case. So it's worth saying here, the mattes are super smooth and buttery, very, very pigmented. In fact, you'll find as I'm going through, I believe it was the desk eye. It was either the desk or the date. Oh no, oh, that's tragic. Oh my God, you guys, I just took a chunk. Oh God, surgery. Oh wait. Oh, this is pressing, this is pressing itself back in. I didn't even add alcohol. It was touch and go there for a second, but listen guys, this, I mean, it's not as good as new, but look, it's not falling all over the place. These are so soft, I just pressed that right back in. Back to what we were talking about. Oh, shadow quality. So the mattes are really great. What was I saying? Oh, pigmentation. I surprised myself as I was doing one of these demos where I just ran my brush too much in this soft matte color, thinking that, you know, there's not such a thing as too much because it's just so soft, and I put it on and I was thoroughly surprised with how pigmented it was, and luckily it blended out very smoothly across the lid, not patchy, or, you know, none of these mattes catch and get patchy at all anywhere on the lid, but the pigmentation did surprise me a couple times, which I think is a good thing. The same can be said for the shimmers. Like I said, they're pigmented, they're buildable, especially the glittery ones. You get that beautiful wash of like high shine metallic, like kind of like I'm wearing now, with that glittery dimension up close, but no glitter fallout. I did my base, and then, which is so not what I normally do. If you've seen my beauty don'ts video, you know I am definitely an eyes first kind of girl, but I did my base knowing that I was basically going to do all 4 of these looks back to back, and with each one of these looks, the fallout was minimal to non-existent. I continue to be impressed with that. So in terms of quality, it's there. You get the range of cool to somewhat warm leaning neutrals. I wouldn't say this is a warm palette by any means. It tends to stick to cool to neutral, but there's lots of great pigment and shimmer to be had there. So overall, nothing bad to say. It is on the pricier side, especially when you compare it to the price per ounce of the normal quad. But like I said, in terms of sampling some really high quality, beautiful shades from Charlotte Tilbury, you get 12 in here for $73. And so it just depends on what you're after in a palette. But in terms of a versatile eyeshadow palette, this, I mean, clearly is built to and will take you from day to night. So there's versatility there. Now on to the new cream highlight and contour wands. I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical about these. Cream/liquid products over your base can be a little hit or miss for me, for anyone. It just depends on the kind of base you wear, how you prefer to apply things. The contour wand comes in 2 shades. I have and used today in this demo the shade Fair Medium, but when I was actually there at Nordstrom and a makeup artist was doing my face with these products at the event, they used the deeper shade on me. The good thing about these is they can be sheared out beautifully. Like, I don't think that shade was any too deep on my skin tone because it could be sheared out so well. And likewise, it can be built really nicely too. Charlotte actually has a couple of demos, or at least one demo on her channel, of using the deeper shade of this on I would say a medium deep to deeper skin tone, but I don't think that the 2 shade range is going to reach all the way to the deepest of deep skin tones. Likewise, they do sheer out, but I think some still might find it a little too deep for, you know, the fairest few skin tones. So right up front, the contour lacks a little bit of versatility in the shade range, but the highlight, on the other hand, is pretty stinking beautiful no matter what. Both of these, like I said, are cream products, and so come with these spongy little applicators, which I'm torn on. I'm not typically a fan of this because you can't get them clean. They stay wet for a long period of time, and so they might harbor and grow bacteria. But they work effectively at applying product straight to the skin. I don't know. I'm still up in the air about it. It's not my favorite. You can turn them on and off though, which I really do like from a travel standpoint. I have traveled with these guys and it's super easy to, this top just twists open and close. You don't have to worry about cream kind of exploding everywhere. As long as you make sure that's closed, you're gonna end up with a fixed amount of product here at the end of your applicator. The formula with both of these are beautiful. They apply beautifully. They do so without disturbing the makeup. For reference, I use what I think is a new brush that she came out with specifically to blend these. This is the Hollywood complexion brush. On the larger side, you have a flat kabuki that they use to blend out the contour. And then on the other hand, you have an angled flat kabuki that they use to apply, you know, more precise highlight. This is not a necessity to me. I bought it just to see how it performed, but frankly, there is no difference between this brush versus any other flat top kabuki or angled kabuki. If you don't have those, maybe consider investing in this, but I personally find I have a lot of other brushes that could do the job similarly. The products themselves, though, are really unique not unique, high quality in terms of formula because they dry down without disturbing, they apply and blend out without disturbing the product underneath, and then they dry down to a powdery finish, which can't be said for every cream product, but it's so important that it is, for me anyway. I have combo skin, and even though the perimeter of my face will be dry, if any excess moisture doesn't get absorbed by my skin and it just stays tacky and like a layer on top of my skin, it's going to transfer everywhere, it's going to move throughout the day, it's going to break up my makeup underneath and look patchy after just a couple of hours of wear. So it's really important to me, and just in general, that you have a good high quality cream formula, and that's what this has been consistently for me. Like I said, I spent the last week using it, traveling with it, especially travel when your skin can get kind of stressed and freak out in ways that it doesn't normally, like dry skin types might get really dry, oily skin types might get really dry. You know, it kind of lasted with me even through those skin fluctuations, which I think is saying something. And they just look really beautiful and effortless on. I did want to take a look at any comparable cream products I might have to the highlight, because at this point, I feel like so many highlighters are coming out that surely we have to hit, you know, a lot of dupes. Nothing that I have is an exact dupe. The closest I have come are the Cover FX. In fact, let me just put them on the back of my hand. So here are the similar products on the back of my hand. In terms of shade, very, very different finishes, I think, personally. Over here on this is my far left, so whatever this is for you, this is the Charlotte Tilbury over here on the far side of my hand. Then in the middle, this, which is almost barely seen there, but this is something from e.l.f., so very affordable. It's the e.l.f. Illuminating, they didn't even label it, it's just an illuminating liquid highlighter that has a sheerer and more dewy finish, and then next to it is the Cover FX. If you can't tell from the blinding glow right there, it's the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. This is in the shade Moonlight. Like I said, very similar in tone, but I think we can, you know, eliminate the Cover FX from the dupe category. The one that comes close is the e.l.f. It's a little bit sheer. I would say it's a little bit more of a dewy finish as opposed to this opaque, you know, in your face kind of pink pearlescence. Similar undertones, but the e.l.f., and this goes back to the importance of the formula, it doesn't dry on me. It's one of those that stays tacky to the touch, and so unless I'm very careful about like touching my face or the heat conditions, if it's super hot or my skin's kind of freaking out, that can kind of affect how a product that doesn't dry down on my skin affects the rest of the products on my face. So to me, it is a more affordable product, but in terms of lasting power, like if it's not functional, if it's only going to serve to, you know, give me that beautiful illuminating glow for a couple of hours out of the day when I need it to last for a full work day and beyond, then it's worth it to me to have the higher end product to do that. So that is just my take, but I wanted to share that in the event that you feel the same way. Otherwise, if not, just so you know, this is, you know, very similar in terms of undertone and appearance. So that's really it for me, guys. Those are all of the new products from Charlotte Tilbury I have been trying, my thoughts on them, demos, etc. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.